Just a reminder, turn your cell phones to vibrate off or mute. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach.
So like always, I want to thank you guys for coming out and covering Penn State football. Want to give Michigan State a ton of credit under some challenging circumstances this year. And we had a lot of respect for them on film. Their coaching staff, I think, has done a really good job. They battled all year long. I want to pay them some respect. I thought the playing here in the Dome, I talked to their AD before the game. I talked to their head coaches before the game. I thought this was real positive for both programs. It was a home game for Michigan State, but I thought there was a lot of positives about it. And then you talk about our game. Obviously you talk about turnover battle. We won that. Explosive play battle. We won that. Third down battle we won, but we probably weren't as good in that area. If I was going to be critical, that would be one of the areas that'd be critical. Sack battle, we thought that was the most significant stat all week long. We talked about that. If you look at the success when it comes to wins and losses with Michigan State, that was a powerful statistic, winning that battle. Field position battle we won, and then penalty battle we won in a number of penalties, but the yards was a tie. I thought the game started out, the offense was able to move the ball up and down the field. We just weren't finishing drives with touchdowns. But besides that, I thought we did some nice things. We just had too many penalties when we got into the red zone. It was cool to see Jalen Reed, a Detroit, Michigan native, to be able to get an interception this week. Our special teams have really been solid the second half of the year and playing really well. But we were able to get both running backs over 100 yards. We were able to protect the football. We were able to play both quarterbacks, something that we really wanted to do all year long, but we were able to emphasize the last 2 weeks. They both have different skill sets that can be challenging for the defense. So some real positives, but 10 wins with a chance to go 1-0 and win 11 wins and hopefully to do your sixth bowl game against a really good opponent like we did last year. So again, appreciate everybody coming out. Look forward to our next opportunity. Open up the questions.
Raise your hand and we'll call on you. We'll start with Rich and then go to Andrew.
James, how gratifying was it to see Katron and Nick put up the kind of production they did today after, the expectations were so great going into this season?
Yeah, again, I guess the way you're saying the question, I think they both had great years. In the run game, in my mind, they matched the expectations. In the run game, in the pass game, when it comes to protection, they both clearly got better this year as overall running backs. I think there have been probably some other games where we could have gotten a few more yards, but we got them out. We're trying to manage that situation and keep them healthy. But yeah, to see them both finish with 100 yards and get into the end zone was cool. I know it's something also that our O-line takes a ton of pride in as well. But I think both of them, again, when you study the tape as complete players, they both got a lot better this season.
Andrew, then Johnny.
Coach, back here, given some of the narratives around this team this season, is there vindication in wrapping up the regular season with a game that was like this, as dominant as it was?
Could you be a little bit more direct so I know what you're saying?
Is it, given that all the criticisms about the offense, to finish the regular season like this, is there, I don't want to say relief, but do you feel really, I use the word vindication, is there a moment of pride in that way you finished the season like this, given that there's been so much criticism about the struggles?
Yeah, again, we won 10 games this season. There's very few programs in the country that are able to do that. We've done it in back-to-back seasons. I'm very proud of what we've done. Do I understand, do I embrace the fact that this place has really, really high expectations? Nobody has higher expectations than the players and the coaches. So yeah, I'm not sure about all that, but I'm proud of this team and how we played tonight and how consistently we played this year. But obviously there's some steps that we have to take. I'm confident that we're gonna take those steps and be aggressive. And like I mentioned, you guys, in preseason, my confidence comes from the alignment of our leadership in Neely Bendapudi and Pat Kraft. And then hopefully consistency in the football program as well.
Johnny, then Mark.
James, how would you assess how Drew played tonight? And then do you feel like this can kind of be a building block for him now going into bowl prep ahead of whatever comes next?
Yeah, I thought he played well. I thought he missed some throws on the run that I think he normally makes. But overall, I thought he played well. I mean, I guess it's interesting, right? We talk about, criticisms. I mean, how many touchdown passes has he thrown this year? 24, and how many interceptions? And 1 interception. I think if you just took that statistic and told the 132 coaches in the country that their quarterback would have those stats before the season started, I think everybody would take it and run. So as a first-year starter, I thought he did some really good things. Obviously, I thought we did some good things tonight in terms of emphasizing the tight ends and the running backs. I thought we did that the last 2 weeks. We were able to take some shots as well. We've been more explosive. But yeah, I think he's played really well. And I think he's played really well all year long. Obviously, there's been some areas that we need to get better as an offense, and there's areas that Drew needs to get better. There's no doubt about it. But again, I think when you're looking at the overall picture, I don't think there's a coach in the country that if they could take those statistics at the beginning of the season, everybody would take them and run.
Mark, then Audrey.
James, could you assess the collective buy-in of your players into this defense, where nobody is posting gigantic numbers, but consistently you guys are playing at a dominating level?
Well, again, I think there's a difference between buying into statistics and buying into playing really good football. And one of the things that I think happens sometimes is, a guy maybe doesn't have a certain amount of catches, or a guy doesn't have a certain amount of tackles, or whatever it may be, interceptions, whatever it may be. I'm still a big believer that when true football people like you guys, the scouts, are studying the tape, they're playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. There's a ton of times where you're a defensive lineman and you run a twist and you're the penetrator, and the guy who's looping the twist gets the sack. Well, the penetrator caused the sack. And real football people that are studying it understand that. Our guys, have bought into that on offense, defense, and special teams. And the reality is, when you do your job and your teammate does his jobs, the plays that are supposed to come to you will come to you. And we've done a good job of that. We've played really good defense. Really, I've been fortunate. We've played really good defense since I've become a head coach. And I think Manny and the staff have taken it to another level. We've been playing good defense for a long time.
Audrey, then Pickle.
James, what do you feel like maybe you've learned about your receiving core these last 2 weeks?
I'm listening.
I'm listening too. Yeah, I think it's like we talked about before. I think there's some talent there, and I think what we have done a good job the last specifically 2 weeks is, I think sometimes as coaches you focus on things that guys can't do, rather than saying, okay, here's something that this guy does really well. Let's allow him to use that, and then allow him to have success there and build on it. And we probably rotated more guys. It was interesting because last week you guys asked me some questions about certain guys. How come this guy didn't get any touches? But early in the week it's like, well, how come these other receivers aren't playing? We're playing more guys. We're rotating more guys. So that's a factor in it as well. But I think the biggest thing is we got some guys that I think can really do some good things. We have played to their strengths. We focused on the things that they can do, and then use that with some confidence to build, for the future.
2 more, Pickle, then Adam.
Coach, what will your schedule be for you, your staff, your players over the next week and a day until you find out your bowl placement?
Yeah, so in-house, we'll watch a ton of recruiting film, and get organized, for going on the road and how we're gonna balance the schedule. All the bowl schedules are already set. We already have the calendars all set for where we would go and who we would play. The obvious thing is I'm gonna be in Saturday and Sunday Zooming with a ton of, prospective, offensive coordinator candidates. Then we'll spend, I think we have 3 days scheduled to meet with every single player on the team, by position coach, and then I'll meet with some guys as well. And then obviously, we'll start getting into some practicing and then, kind of go from there. But meeting with our players is a priority, watching recruiting film and getting organized where we're going, how we're gonna finish this class up the right way, also the transfer portal. We gotta be all over those things. And then with technology now, I can sit in my office and get 90% of the work done on Zoom, which I think makes the most sense.
Yeah.
James, a year from now, you're gonna have a 12-team playoff. Often 10-2 might be good enough. How do you think this season will be viewed a year from now, externally and also internally, given how proud you are still of the 10 wins?
Yeah, I think there's data if you go back and say how many times if there've been a 12-team playoff, how many times would we have been in? So, I think just looking at that statistic and where we're gonna finish this regular season, depending on the college football playoff rankings, I think we'd be in it here. And I think we're playing kind of our best football now. So it's good to be kind of trending at the right time. But that's for next year. This year we played good enough to win 10 games and hopefully get into the New Year's Six bowl game and play well in it. I think that's probably more challenging than it's been in the past with all the different things that have changed in college football over the last 5 years. But yeah, I'm proud of it.
And Coach?
Thanks, James.